All right, we are ready to do the final step, which is this reciprocal method. This is probably my favorite method just because, in my opinion, it's probably the most fair method. And it uses some basic algebra, and I was one of those geeks in school that just loved math class. So what we're going to now look at the same problem, Carly Mine, producing departments, Hilltop Pacific, service departments, information systems, and administration. But now under the reciprocal method, the method is that we don't care who you are. If you used our services, you're going to get billed from us. So now there's no distinction of do we bill this department or not. It is if you used us, you're going to get billed. So that's why I say it's kind of the fair method. So what we're going to first do is calculate, the percentage of use for all of the departments. So once again, the activity for the information systems is going to be all of the hours of all of the departments with the exception of themselves. So be careful if you're doing a homework problem, if it gives you the hours from the information systems, you can't bill yourself. Well, you can, but it would be really wasteful. All right. So you can't include any activity of the department that is doing the billing. So under administration department, we're going to include all the employees from the information systems and from the producing departments. And we're going to do the same thing we've been doing before. We're not going to bill ourselves. And we're going to calculate the percentage of use based on, for the for the information systems department, how many employees. So just something to keep an eye on. Over here is always the department that is doing the assigning. So in information systems, the administration department used 50% of them. Hilltop used, I believe, 10%, and Pacific used 40%. So these percentages are the exact same that we did on the step method for information systems. But that's not going to be the case for the administration, because now the administration department can bill anyone that's used them. So they're going to bill information systems as well as the two producing departments. All right, so information systems had a total of 2,000 employees out of the grand total of 10,000. Hilltop had a total of 5,000 employees out of the grand total of 10,000. And Pacific had a grand total of 3,000 employees out of the 10,000. So we have our percentages done. Now you'll notice I don't have another box down here. Well, actually I do. It's way down there. Okay? Because what we're going to do next is write a formula for what would be the total cost of each department. And we got to use some symbols in here. So I'm going to use the symbol S for information systems and the symbol A for administration. And what I want to do is write the formula for what would be the total cost. So the total department cost is going to be the direct cost of the service department. So for example, the 800,000 of the information systems plus any costs that they've been assigned from the administration department. All right, so remember now with the reciprocal method, the departments can all bill each other. So the information system department's not only going to have 800,000, but they're also going to receive a bill from the administration department as well. So we have to factor that in. So how do we begin writing this formula? Well, I'm going to walk you through it. So first of all, we know that the direct cost, the first part of the formula, is $800,000, all right? And because we just calculated these beautiful percentages up above, if we look here, the administration department is going to bill 20% of their cost to the information systems. How do I know that? Because the information systems had 20% of the employees. So once again, I kind of have to look downward here. Information systems is going to get billed 20% from the administration department. So we're going to put in here 0.20 representing the 20% of A's cost, or the administration cost. So what I've just written here, they're going to have a total cost information system of $800,000 plus they're going to receive or be billed 20% of the administration cost. And once again, how I got the administration cost is I looked here for a percentage use and said, all right, information systems, they use 20%, so we know where they're going to get billed 20%. So now we're going to look at the formula for the administration department. We know they have direct cost of $5 million from up above, right here. But in addition, when we calculated the percentage use of the information system department, we said, all right, administration used 50% of the hours. So therefore, they're going to get billed 50% of the information systems cost. So that's going to be 50% of S's cost. So now, if you kind of want to look at it this way, the total cost for the information systems is $800,000 plus 20% of A's cost, while the total cost of the administration department is $5 million plus 50% of S. Now, once we got the formulas, that's the hardest part, my friends. Now we're going to merge the formulas together. And it doesn't matter which one you start with. So since we did started with information systems, let's just use that formula. So we said 800,000 plus 20% of A. Well, guess what? We now know what A is because we have the formula here for the administration department. So in parentheses, I'm going to put in A's formula. I'm going to put in the whole shebang, even with the S. So once again, the original formula for information tech said 800,000 plus 20% of A. And then now what I'm doing, and for A, I'm going to put in A's formula of 5 million plus 50% S. So let's blow this up a little bit, get it bigger here. Now, if it's been a while since those algebra days, we got to use the distributive property to get rid of this parentheses. Trying to find a symbol here that will allow me to do that. There's not any good symbols in Excel. That might work, but I doubt it. Yeah, nope. All right, I was wanting to do a symbol. So what I would, man, there has to be one. That might work close enough. So we got to take, oh, that's so not going to work. All right, just move on, Sheila, right? We got to get rid of the parentheses here. So if you remember your fine days from algebra, maybe some MTE classes or Math 120, we will take the 20% times the 5 million, and then we're also going to take the 0.20, 20% times 0.5s. So we got to get rid of this parentheses. So we got 800,000 plus, I'm going to take, I'm going to type all of this out just so everyone sees exactly what I'm doing here. I'm going to take 20% of the 5 million. And then I'm going to take 20% of the 0.50s. So this is the next step. All right, so I did the distributive property, took 20% of 5 million and put that in one parentheses, and then took 20% of 0.50s. So now let's break this down even more. So if I take 20% of 5 million, I get 1 million. And because I'm multiplying, I can multiply by a letter. So if I take 0.2 times 0.5, I get 0.1. And that S just tags along. So once again, put in your calculator, take 0.2 times 0.5, you get 0.1, and that S is brought along. So now the formula is looking like this: 800,000 plus a million plus 0.1 S. We can keep combining it down. I can combine the two like numbers. I have 800,000 plus 100,000. So now I know that's going to equal 1.8 million, and bring the 1S along. So now I need to get the S's to one side. Well, if you have a single S, that's the equivalent of having a 1 in front of it. And I'm sorry, I should have wrote this should be 0.1 S. So now to get the S's on the same side, I got to subtract 0.1 S from both sides because I want to move it to get the S's to one side. So 1S minus 0.1 S equals 0.9 S. So now we're left with 0.9 S equals 1,800,000. Now it's back to solving for a simple variable. You may be thinking, well, geez, sure to take a lot of steps. Divide both sides by 0.9. And we're going to get S equals 2 million. So I took 1.8 million and divided it by 0.9. And we had just calculated that the total cost of the Information Systems Department is 2 million. So remember up here where I have a total service department cost, that's what S we just calculated as. And let's highlight this thing. All right. We just calculated the total service department cost for the information system. So now that we know how much the information system department cost is going to be, you got to remember this 2 million, not only does it includes 800,000, but it also includes the cost that they're going to get assigned from the administration department. All right, so now that we know the total cost of S, we can now find the total cost of A. And it's a lot easier after you have one done. So we know what A's formula is, right? It's 5 million plus 50% of S. I'm simply going, I now know what S is, it's the 2 million. Plug that in. And we're going to get 6 million for the service department's total cost. So this part here is key, and I would say this is probably the part that students may get hung up on the most. Now, once we have this amount, this becomes our total cost that we're using in our chart below, which is very similar to the other charts, all right, to assign the cost to. And we already have the percentages from up above. So I'm going to hide this information for a second. If you need to pause the video, please feel free to do so. I won't take offense to it. All right. But now that we have those two costs, we can now divvy them up among all the departments, keeping in mind that we are not billing ourselves. So I have $2 million of the information systems cost. Of that $2 million, 50% is going to the administration, and Hilltop Mine, 10% of it's going there, while Pacific Mine is getting a 40% chunk. Then of the $6 million of administration, information system, yikes, is going to get hit with 20% of that, while Hilltop Mine is going to get hit 50%, while Pacific Mine is going to get hit with 30%. Let's do some totals here. We have a total cost of $8 million, and if I sum up all of the departments, I get $8 million as well. Now, here's another way, now that we have this, to look to see if our formulas make sense. So remember earlier I said $2 million is the total information systems cost, and the reason why it is originally, all right, originally they had $800,000 of direct cost, and information systems just got billed $1.2 million of the administration cost. So if I take $1.2 million plus the $800,000, that gives me $2 million. So the numbers do back into each other. Same thing with the $6 million. The administration department originally had $5 million of direct cost, all right, and they got billed $1 million from information systems. So the $5 million plus $1 million gives me the $6 million. All right, so this is the last lecture for Accounting 231. I know, a very sad day. All right, so because of that, we're going to use the word tiers for the final attendance phrase, as I know it will be very sad for you as you're typing that into Blackboard. All right, I have enjoyed the class tremendously. You guys have been excellent students. I appreciate it. Accounting 231 is not an easy class to do online, so I know you've put in a lot of hard work, and that means a lot to me, and I hope it will help you as well in your future endeavors, whatever they may be. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns on the final lecture. Thank you.